Good Friday morning. I'm Roxanne Battle. Thanks for watching Kare 11 Today.
And I'm Brad Woodard in for Pat Evans, and we have a great show for you this morning. Movie man Jeff Strickler is here with a preview of what's new and hot at the box office this weekend.
Among the new films, a popular children's book, Holes, comes to life on the big screen. And Pat recently had a chance to talk to the men behind that new movie. We'll hear all about that from them.
Also, I had an Easter brunch idea with an Italian twist. We'll head into the Kare 11 kitchen with Bella Fino.
And ever wonder how Target ever became so popular? We'll get the scoop behind the megastore's rise to fame. That's coming up in this hour.
All that and a whole lot more when Kare 11 Today starts
right now.
This is Kare 11 Today.
Friday. It is Good Friday, and I'm Roxanne Battle. Very pleased to have you along this morning.
And I'm Brad Woodard, filling in for Pat Evans. You know, I had no idea you could move so quickly. She was scrambling to get rid of her scripts here before we
I've got all kinds of hidden talents.
I'm impressed.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm kind of happy it's Friday.
Yeah. Even though it's a little dreary outside, that's still okay. A lot of people will be doing Easter egg hunts and jelly beans and family dinners and all that stuff.
You have big plans this weekend?
Yeah, I do look forward to getting together. You know, my entire family lives here in the area.
That'll be a hoot.
So, yeah, I'll be looking forward to getting together with all of them. And we have Bella Fino Ristorante in the kitchen this morning, making a traditional Italian Easter brunch, and it smells really good in the studio right now. We're going to get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
And what else are we going to do today?
Well, Jeff Strickler is going to be here in just a few minutes to talk about what's hot and what's not at the box office this weekend. Also, we're going to talk to the author of a new book about Target, an amazing store. You know, you go there to buy toilet paper and toothpaste, and end up dropping a couple of $100.
Yes. How do they do that?
I don't know, but they have quality items and they're so reasonably priced. It's a fun place to go.
Yeah, you know, you walk in there and you just hear people, I just love this store. I don't know what, you know, you buy a lamp, I know how they do it. You buy a lamp, and you need the light bulb to go with the lamp. Serious. The lamp is on this side of the store, and the light bulb is on that side of the store.
And a lot of great stuff in between.
In between. That's how your basket fills up. I'm convinced of it. So we're going to get to that today. We also want to tell you about something pretty interesting. You Food Network fans, recently we had the chance to head into the Kare 11 kitchen with the one and only famed Food Network chef Tyler Florence. You may know him as the host for Food 911. He's got a new show coming up called Tyler's Ultimate, where he travels the world looking for the ultimate recipe, the apple pie or the chocolate torte, the baked chicken. We're going to bring you that fabulous segment in about a week or so, but if you want to see Tyler Florence in person, you can meet him this weekend. Tyler is coming to town for a special cooking demo at the St. Louis Park Panera Bread store tomorrow afternoon. He's in town promoting his new cookbook called Tyler Florence's Real Kitchen. Again, you can meet Tyler Florence and cook with TV chef Tyler Florence tomorrow, Saturday at 1:30 at the Panera Bread store in St. Louis Park.
St. Louis Park.
Yeah, he's a Southern boy like yourself.
Well, he's got to be a great guy then.
Absolutely.
He's got a great gig, I know that.
I mean, all over the world. Like, can you imagine going to the south of Provence and to Louisiana and to Minnesota looking for the ultimate apple pie recipe?
That would be sweet.
And how those people on the Food Network say so funny, I don't know.
That is a good question.
I don't know, because you know they eat everything they bake.
They do.
I do. And then
you know, it's been such a strange week weather-wise. Earlier this week it was almost 90. Then we had snow, yesterday?
Some in parts of Minnesota, down in motor houses in the backyard. Do you have an umbrella with you? Sans umbrella?
No, not yet.
But he has his coat.
It is starting to kind of mist out here, so
all right.
Might have to go find the umbrella. It looks like kind of a soggy weekend, folks. We have this pattern that we needed the moisture, and then we got the rain, but now this pattern just doesn't want to break down, and it looks like it's going to be here right through the weekend with a couple rounds of showers and maybe even some thunderstorms moving through the area. We're starting temperatures off this morning in the 30s across most of the area, but up north it's kind of cold. It was down to 19 at International Falls this morning. They're at 33 right now. 32 in Brainerd, 36 in Detroit Lakes, 34 for Rice Lake, and 35 degrees here in the Twin Cities. And we're kind of keeping our eye out to the south and west because that's where the next batch of rain is coming from. Here's the radar replay overnight. Look what's happening down across Nebraska and Kansas. Big thunderstorms are firing up. They're now starting to move into Iowa and some of that rain could make it up into the metro as early as about drive time this afternoon or into the evening hours. And more rain will come up through the nighttime hours as another weather system in this pattern just keeps on working its way on up to the north and east. The blue is where the computers think it will rain. Notice how that moves up into northern Minnesota for tomorrow, but also notice there's more rain off to the south, and some of that may move in here for Sunday. So here's the forecast. It's kind of a soggy weekend for us. Cloudy and damp today, becoming windy later on with some showers late in the day, highs 44 to 49 degrees. Winds will pick up out of the southeast later on. Then for tonight, rain and thunderstorms are in the forecast, 43 to 48 on the low temperatures. Tomorrow, I think the rain will lift up to the north, but we could still see a shower or two or a couple sprinkles, highs in the mid-50s. And then 51 on Sunday, the bulk of the rain Sunday going into Wisconsin, but I think eastern Minnesota will see some as well. And then it warms up and dries out a little bit next week. But Brad, it looks like it'll take until next week for this pattern to finally shift enough for us to get things to dry out and brighten up.
Hey, it's been 6 months. We can wait another week.
I think we have to, yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, Don. Well, up front this morning, a big box office battle. Movie man Jeff Strickler is here to tell us if any of the new movies opening this weekend will be able to knock Anger Management from its record-breaking #1 slot. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Brad.
I really want to see this film because I know you're not a big fan of it, but it seems like the perfect role for Jack Nicholson just from the trailers I've seen.
You know, Jack Nicholson in Anger Management, he saves it. He is the movie. I'm not a big, you're right, I'm not a big fan of that kind of comedy, but I thought he was terrific in that.
Okay, well, first up this morning, we're going to talk about the popular children's book turned movie, Holes.
Right, this is a hugely popular kids book. In fact, my 14-year-old has read it like 4 times. And Brad, if you didn't know it was a kid's movie or a kid's book, you wouldn't know this is a kid flick because it's a very complicated story. The basic story is a teenager gets in trouble with the law, gets a chance of going to jail or to camp. And he thinks it's going to be camp like Camp at Summer. Let's take a look.
Dear Mom, I'm having a wonderful time at camp. The food's great. Not as good as yours, of course, but I like it. We've been out on the lake all day.
Where's a person go to the bathroom around here?
Man, pick a hole, any hole.
Once I pass the swimming test, I get to learn how to water ski. I made lots of friends.
Oh, you're going to hell for sure.
This where you found it?
It's called Holes because that's what the kids have to do. Every day they have to go dig a hole that's 5 feet square and 5 feet deep. It turns out that the warden, played by Sigourney Weaver, is looking for buried treasure. And so she has the kids doing the work for her. There's some wonderful adult roles.
Works for me.
Works for me, too. John Voight is in this. John Voight is doing a cross between Elvis Presley and John Wayne. He's absolutely terrific. Henry Winkler's in this. What I like about this, Brad, it's so much more complicated than a typical kids movie. There's 3 plots going on simultaneously. The characters are not all good guys or bad guys. They're good if they want to be good. They're bad when they need to be bad. And the story is not told in chronological order, and things happen and then are not explained for half an hour later, and then it's up to the viewer to connect the dots. So and that's the way the book is too. I think that's one reason the book is so popular. It doesn't speak down to its young audience. It says, look, you know, play along with this. This is kind of fun. So I really like this show. I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. 3 for the kids, and then there is some violence. It takes place off screen, but there is some violence involved in this.
You like that one?
I did like that one.
Well, the man behind Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman, 2 of my favorite movies. Christopher Guest, he's an amazing man. He now has Mighty Wind, which is playing in theaters, and this looks like a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's the same format as the other ones. These are called mock documentaries that are basically made up on the fly, Brad. They just put on a camera and everything is ad-lib. Let's take a look.
Yeah. It was a decent label. They just didn't have the distribution.
Well, they just didn't have. Well, they didn't have any distribution.
No distribution at all.
And the covers were printed in 2 colors instead of 4, which I noticed was a.
Yeah. And they had no hole in the center of the record, so a lot of
you'd have to provide it
the
yourself.
people complain that you'd get this vinyl, of course, in those days, and it's kind of up to you to kind of center it and make the actual.
It would teeter crazily on the little spindle.
But the story here is a bunch of 1960s folk singers all coming back for a reunion concert. Brad, the years have not been kind to them, and a lot of them weren't in all that great shape to begin with. But
I can relate to that.
It's the same cast that we've seen in the other movies. It's Michael McKean, Harry Shearer, Eugene Levy, Fred Willard, Catherine O'Hara, and this is just. What's interesting about this is, I think these characters are more real than the characters in some of the other films, and as a result, the movie has much more of an emotional punch to it. I mean, we really bind with these characters, and part of it, Brad, is it is real. One of these bands is really a band that's been together for 20 years, and it's the band Christopher Guest plays in. That trio has actually been legitimately booked as a folk trio for the last 2 decades.
And Christopher Guest and these guys were also in This Is Spinal Tap.
In fact, that's how they got started playing together. The 3 of them played, and so it's not mean-spirited satire. It's just sort of a gentle poke in the ribs because they're really making fun of themselves.
Right.
And that's what makes it so wonderful. So I'm going to give this 3 stars. 2 for the kids only because there's some kind of racy jokes in it every now and then.
I also like to see Fred Willard. Reminds me of Fernwood Tonight and Mary Hartman.
Oh, it's just terrific.
Funny stuff. Well, TV host and comedian Jamie Kennedy stars in the new movie Malibu's Most Wanted. Something tells me this is not going to be high on your list.
No, this is a tough one because, like everyone, my mother said, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all, in which case we'd be done talking right now. This is a skit that started on his show. He's a young, rich, white kid who aspires to be a poor black rap singer, and that's embarrassing his father who wants to run for office. Let's take a look.
Your behavior has become an embarrassment to the family.
Don't be hating.
And I'm afraid I can't have you on the campaign anymore.
What? Oh, that's how it is? You done it now? Y'all just opened up a big can of tough love.
What can we do, Doctor?
This is the most advanced case of gangstophrenia I've ever seen.
Come on, Cook. Now, there's only 2 things keeping this from being offensive. 1, it's really, really stupid, and 2, it's really, really badly done. So it's hard to take offense at it, but the basic idea is they hire 2 black guys to take him into the inner city and quote-unquote scare the black out of him. That's the one nice big, we're looking at Ty Diggs right there. They hire Ty Diggs to play this black gangster. It turns out he's a Juilliard-trained actor. He has no idea. He doesn't even know where the Central City is. So there's a little bit of stereotype busting there. But for the most part, I mean, when he raps, the rapping is intentionally bad, but everything else about this is just unintentionally bad.
Okay.
So I'm just going to give this 1 star, and 1 for the kids. It's got violence, it's got profanity, it's got nothing, a redeeming quality in it that I can find at all.
How do some of these movies get made? That's what I want to know.
I think the problem is, he does this kid on his TV show, and it generates a couple of laughs. The problem is that's all the movie generates is a couple of laughs. But I think they're trying to cash in on something that's already existing.
Do you know anything about this movie that's being scouted up north? I was just reading briefly about it in The Wire. I don't mean to put you on the
There's actually
spot.
a couple of them. One of them is set in 2 harbors, and there's another one about Paul Bunyan that they're doing up north. Which I don't know which one you're referring to, but there's actually 2 crews in town, in the state right now, looking for locations.
It's nice to see films coming back to Minnesota. Hey, what's a good video to rent this weekend?
Well, Brett, the folks who made Evelyn only made 1 mistake, but it was a doozy. They released this charming low-key drama in December when it was overshadowed by all the big-budget holiday blowouts. As a result, this heartwarming story came and went before a lot of people got a chance to see it. Well, now we have a second chance. This is a true story about a man who challenged an Irish law that said a single father could not raise his own children. Played by Pierce Brosnan, he took his case all the way to the Supreme Court. And this is a feel-good movie that we feel really good about recommending.
He's a good actor, and he's done a pretty good job of not being typecast as the James Bond character.
In fact, he produced this. He went out, he heard about this story, and he went out and got it for his own production company. And I think you're right. It's a good story. It's a story worth telling, and it proves he can do something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, sir, it's a pleasure as always. Thank you. Now we're going to toss over to Roxanne and see what she has going on in the kitchen.
So Jeff didn't like that movie, did he? No. Thank the 2 of you. Still to come this Friday morning, a taste of Italy in time for Easter. We're going to show you how to make a traditional Italian frittata. That's right. All right, coming up in just a bit. Also had the amazing story behind the rise of Target stores. Find out why they are so popular. A bit later, Pat sat down with the creative duo behind the new Disney movie Holes, which Jeff just reviewed. We're going to hear from them when we come back.
Thanks for watching Kare 11 Today with Pat Evans and Roxanne Battle.
Back to Kare 11 Today. They are one of the tastier traditions of Easter, and this morning we're giving the Easter egg an Italian twist. Anna Donato Gani is from Bellafino Ristorante in Maple Grove, and she's here this morning to share a traditional Italian brunch called a frittata and a few other favorites. Anna, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Tell us about Bellafino Ristorante.
Well, Bellafino is a wonderful Italian restaurant that carries on a lot of our Italian traditions. We make all of our food homemade.
Really? Mm-hmm. And it's just very traditional, very comfortable inside.
Very nice.
And it's homemade meals, breads, sauces.
Pizza, pastas, lasagna, fettuccine. The list goes on and on.
This is a family-owned business.
That's right.
Tell me about that.
Well, our family, my husband and I, own Bellafino, and my husband's the chef, and he's there every day creating and making and cooking, and people love the food.
Lots of tradition.
A lot of tradition.
Kind of like our own version of my big fat Greek wedding right here in the Twin Cities. Okay, you brought some delicious things with you that sort of represent Italian brunch.
Around Easter, this is a kutsupa. That's a homemade Italian kutsupa. What that is a sweet bread that
you would people at home to see the egg that's in there. Go ahead.
It's a boiled egg, and my mom, of course, made that. I did not. I am not that talented, but she makes it, and you cut it, and you dip it in your coffee in the morning, and that's made during the Paschal time. And then, of course, we decorate that around with Easter jelly beans and that type of thing.
Oh, there he has over here on the tray. It's the same sweet bread with the egg. And you put the egg in. When do you put the egg into?
She puts it in before she bakes it.
Oh, and it's a boiled egg. Remember
exactly.
that. Yeah, and give me the name of that again.
Kutsupa.
Kutsupa.
It's a Calabrese name. It's probably a slang.
This looks like a really big sandwich.
Well, that's the frittata. Traditionally, in Calabria, Italy, where we're from, the morning of Easter, you would make this frittata in a pan and then put it between the homemade pita. That's right, and then eat it just like a sandwich.
Just like a sandwich. And you make, at Bellafino, you make that bread fresh.
Yes, we do. At Mama Donato's and Bellafino, we make that bread.
Oh, now there is an art form to a frittata.
We have a whole story about flipping the frittata.
Tell me about that.
Well, if you flip it too soon, it falls apart. So if you have too many eggs in it, then it ends up everywhere. So over the years, the night before Easter, we've had frittata night. And usually my brother Tony and my sister-in-law Rose host it, which they will tomorrow night. And it's been the fun of it. Who flips it and who drops it. So
how are your frittata flipping skills?
Well, I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a shot.
All right, go ahead. Let me see you.
Or what? Do you want to try it?
No, I didn't get a chance to practice.
Well, the whole key is making sure that it's...
Okay, fine. I'll try.
Okay, go ahead. It's cooked, so...
Okay, all right. So we've got... What you have in here is some egg that you've cooked very slowly.
Exactly. Asparagus,
big
ricotta.
chunky asparagus.
That's already been steamed.
Ricotta cheese.
Oh, salt and pepper. Very basic.
Yummy.
I have an Italian sausage one also, but
go
ahead.
All right. Now what do I got to do?
Okay, flip. All right, there you go. Nice. And now put it back in the pan, and you got to cook the other side.
Oh, I have to put it back in the pan?
Yes. Now you got to cook the other side. So slide it off. There you go.
Look at me.
That's right.
All right. Thank you very much. You brought some lovely children with you today. I want everybody at home to see your little girls.
This is Serena and Juliana, and they actually want to present you with the blooming taupe bouquet from our flower shop. We have Donato's Floral.
Well, thank you, Serena.
And there's Juliana. I don't know if you can see her.
Well, let's get her up here. Yeah, can you say, there she is. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. Now, Juliana's 5 and Serena is 9.
That's right.
And tell me about, thank you for this.
You're welcome.
What is this?
Well, it's exclusively at Donato's Floral. It's the blooming taupe bouquet. It's something that you would keep. It's a purse, and it's also a fresh floral arrangement in a vase. And we are promoting this for Secretary's Week, which is Administrative Professionals Week, and Mother's Day, and throughout the summer. We have plenty of these in different colors, and we are exclusive to it. We created this. We made it up because we're so fashionable and we love purses. So
Donato's Flower.
Donato's Floral.
As well as Bellafino Restaurant.
Yeah, I know, I'm busy.
Oh my gosh, all of our holiday fare. Oh, thank you for a business card, honey. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. You trained them well. Let's tell everybody about Bellafino's Easter brunch, and as well as a Mother's Day brunch. They'll be hosting both. To make reservations, you can call 763-557-7401 or 612-242-6873. Again, the restaurant is located in the Quinwood Bass Lake Center in Maple Grove, Bellafino Restaurante. Anna, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day, happy Easter, happy spring.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Coming up, a behind-the-scenes look at one of America's most popular retailers. Of course, we're talking about Target. Later, a fun event for the entire family that helps with a very good cause. We'll tell you how you can take part in the Pacer event coming up.
Trivia for you this morning. Welcome back. The Twin Cities-based Target Corporation has become America's second most profitable discounter, and our next guest takes a look at their rise to fame. Author Laura Rowley gives readers a behind-the-scenes look into the store in her book, On Target, How the World's Hottest Retailer hit a bullseye. And it is our pleasure to welcome Laura to the show this morning. And bullseye is very appropriate because it's the symbol of Target.
That's right, yeah.
Well, what prompted you to do this book? I mean, it is an amazing story. Minnesotans love Target. First store here in 1962, and now they have over 1,300 stores in 40-something states?
Yeah, it's amazing, in 47 states. I was a business reporter and producer with CNN for 5 years, and so I spent a lot of that time covering entrepreneurial-type companies and Fortune 500 companies. So I have always been interested in Target. The funny thing is, here in Minnesota, since it's been here since 1962, you know all about the virtues of Target. It didn't hit the East Coast till the 90s, so everyone there thinks it started in 1990.
And without fail, you talk to someone and you hear the same story. I went there to buy toiletries and ended up dropping a couple of $100. Why? They've really kind of closed the gap between quality and cost, haven't they?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think the thing Target does best is focus on design. I mean, they've brought cheap chic to the masses. And if you look at a Walmart, for example, they'll do a line with Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. You remember the twins? They're now teenagers.
Yes.
And they do lots and lots of business with them. But Target will hire real designers like Todd Oldham or Michael Graves or Massimo to do their licensing line for them. And people look at that and they know good design when they see it.
And what kinds of people shop at Target? They're not necessarily people who you would consider discount shoppers, and hence the phrase Target, right?
Right, exactly. And everybody thinks they made that up. Well, I call it Target. Target has been very successful in capturing the upper-end shopper. So they tend to be wealthier, college-educated. 80% of their shoppers are women. And when a customer shops at a discount store and their income hits $100,000, they shop exclusively at Target. They won't go to a Walmart or a Kmart.
And as you say in your book, it's now hip to be spare, right?
It sure is. I mean, that's the interesting thing. In 1982, now I don't know if you remember this, but
I wasn't born yet.
I didn't think so. Halston, the designer who sort of made Studio 54 fashion famous, did a line for JCPenney, and it decimated his high-end business. I mean, it was over for him. Bergdorf Goodman dropped him, everyone dropped him. It sort of tarnished his name. Now, there's no stigma attached to discount shopping anymore. People are very proud to say, hey, I got this at Target, I got a great deal, and I got great style.
Well, what makes Target different? I mean, this is a corporation that has thrived even in the shadows of Walmart, for heaven's sake, and the two images are very different. What is the key to Target's success here?
I think it's really design, service, and the way they have marketed the brand is really ingenious. I mean, there are a cult of people, you know this being from Minnesota, and I know from interviewing a lot of people in Minnesota, but around the country too, who love this brand. And they have been so good at tapping those people and sort of making them spread the gospel of Target throughout the country. So I think it's branding, it's the products for sure, which are of a higher quality than their competitors, and the fact that they were blessed with this corporate culture from the beginning. In 1962, being started by a department store, where Kmart was started by a five and dime. And you can see that still in the way the two companies present themselves. It's very interesting.
In fact, the ideals of Target are founded in the founder of Dayton's, correct? I mean, quality products, affordable price, good service, honesty, great refund policy.
Yeah, that's interesting. George Draper Dayton, who started Dayton's in 1902, would give $1 to anybody who could find a mistake in an advertisement. And that was a lot of money back then.
No kidding.
So,
no kidding.
Yeah, so those virtues have carried forward into the Target Corporation. I think it's key to their success.
What about their advertising campaigns? Because they have some of the most hip ads on television as well.
Yeah, it was interesting. I interviewed Bill Oberlander, who was a creative director at an agency in New York when they first started in New York. And they had this ad that ran in the New York Times and some of the other chic media that said, you know, they had the bullseye with, it said an 800 number, and it said, if you know what this means, call the 800 number. Now, what he told me was Target wanted to put their name on the ad, and the agency argued against it and said, people who know what it is will think it's interesting, and people who don't know what it is will really want to know.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. The 800 number was so overwhelmed they had to shut it down. So.
Well, we're out of time, but let me tell you, if you like going to Target, you'll enjoy this book because it is fascinating. You got to speak to a lot of people, lots of interviews with some of the Daytons, in fact.
The Dayton brothers, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's nice to meet a fellow Target fan. And you can find Laura Rowley's book on Target in bookstores everywhere. Thanks again, Laura. Coming up next, great fun for the whole family. We'll check out an exciting way children can learn about kids with disabilities. And we'll meet Hondo the Magician and find out about his part in this weekend's first ever Marshall Fields egg roll. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Kare 11 Today. The Pacer Center helps families of children with disabilities face the challenges of life. And to help fund their special programs, Grammy Award-winning musician Bonnie Raitt is going to be headlining their annual fundraiser on May 3rd. Here to tell us how you can take part in that event is Mary Schrock and the Pacer Puppets. Hi, Mary.
Hi, nice to see you, Roxanne.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
Hi there. He was waving at me. Hi there. How are you? We'll get you guys in just a second over there. Bonnie Raitt, what a score.
She is fantastic. She's a 9-time Grammy Award winner. She's an American music legend, and we have her as our headliner on May 3rd at the Minneapolis Convention Center. And not only can you come and hear Bonnie, we have a great evening full of silent auction items. We have over 1,000 silent auction items. We have wonderful live auction items, including a package to go to the Super Bowl on a private jet with a week's stay and everything else.
Holy cow.
But the important thing about this is that this benefit raises important funds for Pacers programs that help children with disabilities and their families.
This is your major fundraiser of the year.
It absolutely is, and it keeps these services free to children throughout Minnesota. We do not charge for our programs. And Pacers started 25 years ago with one project, Parents Helping Parents, and now we've expanded to 28 programs from age birth up through age 22.
And all of your programs are free?
All of our programs are at no charge to families.
Because of the funds that are raised through benefits like the one happening on the 3rd.
A very good part of those funds help keep this free.
One of the 24 programs that you just referred to is the Count Me In program, and that's where our friends Jennifer and Gloria are standing with. Tell me a little bit. Hi, you're nodding your head. Hi there. Tell me about the puppets.
Well, my name's Sally.
Hi, Sally.
I'm a Count Me In puppet, and I'm so lucky I get to go all over the metro area and teach kids about disabilities, but really the important message that kids with disabilities want to be counted in. They want to have friends, and they want to learn just like all children.
That's a very good message. And what's your name?
I'm Mitch, and we love to meet all the different boys and girls around the Twin Cities. And we have some more puppet friends that couldn't be here today, but they really enjoy bringing out Pacer's message to everyone.
You know, the Pacer fundraiser that helps fund this program has a really interesting headliner this year, doesn't it?
Wow, Bonnie Raitt.
And who's the MC for the program?
Paul Majors.
Do we know that guy, don't we?
I think you might know him here. Absolutely.
Well, that's just great. And the general public, you don't have to be a Pacer family. The general public certainly is invited to participate as well.
Absolutely. We have tickets available beginning at $50. You can call Pacer at 952-838-9000 to order tickets. You can also go on the website, Pacer's website, to order tickets.
And I think it's important to note that a portion of the ticket sales and your donations at the silent auction are tax deductible.
Absolutely. All the proceeds go to Pacer's programs.
All right, let's get that information one more time. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Mitch. All right, and Gloria and Jennifer and Mary. The Pacer benefit featuring Bonnie Raitt will be held at the Minneapolis Convention Center on Saturday, May 3rd. Tickets are still available. If you like one, you can call the Pacers, or a few. You can call the Pacer Center at 952-838-1316 or go to pacer.org. Somebody calling for tickets right now?
I think so. Or was that your phone?
Oh, my phone.
You got it turned off.
All right, we're going to shift gears. We're talking this morning about first birthdays. We want to send out a very happy first birthday wish to this cutie. She's Emma Sebak from Minneapolis. Emma loves to watch for ducks in the backyard and splash on the couch. Cushions.
Okay, and happy first birthday. Happy first birthday to Melanie Rossman. Melanie likes to pull her big brother Max's hair, chew on toys, and make Mommy and Daddy laugh.
This big birthday boy is Carter J. Gasperlin of Osseo. Carter likes to play peekaboo, play with his dog Bear, and go swimming.
And our final birthday wish goes to Connor Dwayne Crosby from Alexandria. Connor loves playing with his toys, emptying out the cupboards, bet Mom loves that, and playing in the tub. Happy birthday to Connor and everyone celebrating their birthday today.
And now we have a very special treat for the children of all ages. We have the one, the only, Hondo, the amazing magician, joining us with his egg sighting tricks. Did you get that? Egg sighting?
Oh, that's really catchy.
Yeah, thank you.
Hondo is helping to celebrate Marshall Field's first ever Easter egg roll this weekend, and the benefits will go to the Children's Cancer Research Fund, if I'm not mistaken. And we have a special guest this morning to help the amazing Hondo.
What's
and your
her
name is?
Jack.
Jack. Jack is a real talker this morning.
Yeah,
Jack, who's your mom?
Erin.
And what does Erin do?
Producer.
Yeah, she's my boss kind of a little bit, huh?
She's a great boss.
Yeah, I'm going to be really nice to you because you're her kid, okay?
Okay.
Is she a good mom, too?
Yeah.
All right. You're saying all the right things this
All
morning,
right.
Jack.
Hi, Hondo.
How's it going,
Good to
Roxanne?
see you.
Good to see you.
This is the egg roll. First ever in Marshall Fields. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's the first ever, inspired by what they've been doing at the White House for over 100 years.
Sure.
And this is the first one here, and Marshall Fields is sponsoring it. And as you mentioned, the Children's Cancer Research Fund is the beneficiary. For every child that participates, they're going to donate $10, and for every celebrity,
Awesome.
we'll have some celebrities kicking it off. It's going to be on Nicollet Mall tomorrow morning between 10 a.m. and 1 o'clock, and I'll be the MC and working a little magic, and be a lot of kids from 4 to 12, like Jack here, doing a real race.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What are you going to do there for us
Oh, well,
today?
you
You're
know,
going to work some
Jack
tricks?
is a perfect name for a card trick, don't you think? Yeah. Yeah. So I just happen to have a deck of cards here. They're all different. They come that way from the factory so that you can tell them apart, right, Jack? So, Jack, I'm going to have you pick one out. Doesn't matter which one. Just take one out of there. You don't let me see it. You look at it. Show it to Brad and Roxanne. Show it to the camera so the folks at home can see it.
But don't let Hondo see it.
I won't look.
Okay, good job.
I'll just, okay, now I'm going to
hide it
shuffle.
from Hondo.
I'm going to shuffle till you say stop, Jack.
Stop.
Place it right on top there, face down, okay? Back in the deck, right? I'm going to read your mind. It's a red card. How am I doing?
Good.
Good. Are you impressed by that trick, or do you think I could probably get that right half the time?
Probably get it right half of the time.
All right. But when I said it was a red card, look, what I really meant was it was a red card. You see the red card? Now look at here. What's that?
A butterfly.
A butterfly, because at the CCRF, they have Club Butterfly, which is young people volunteering to help kids your age who have cancer. And this is a magic club because they can help do magic for the cancer kids. Does that look familiar to you?
That's your card.
How do you do that, Jack?
How do you do that?
Would you like to learn that? All right, look closely. I'm going to take the 8 out of the deck, cover it up with one of my bunnies, and I want you just to say stop as I run through the deck.
Stop.
Can you remember this one?
2.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. That's all right. Just want you to remember. I didn't hear that.
Hondo's a little hard of hearing.
He sneezed. 2.
Do you see a red card in here?
No.
Do you see a red card there?
Yeah.
That's the magic butterfly. Do you remember what this card was?
Wow.
Wow, look at that.
How do you do that?
It changed into your card.
Wow.
I think Jack's the one
trying to
who's
work
magic.
magic to make cancer disappear. So.
How about that?
Isn't that fun?
Okay, one more, Hondo.
One more? Okay, let's do a
Yeah.
little something with our little rabbits here, okay? You want to help me on this one too, Jack? Open your hand. I'm going to put one of these in my hand. I'm going to put one in yours. But first, say go.
Go.
Did you see it go?
Wow.
Well, let's do that one more time.
Yeah.
One for me, one for you. Squeeze tight. Turn your hand over. Don't let go. Do you know any magic words, Jack?
Abracadabra.
No. It's Frango Chegg. Can you say that?
Frango Chegg.
See, this is a Frango Chegg. These are Frango Cheggs, and we're going to produce a 500-pound Frango, wait a minute, Chegg tomorrow. What, do you still have yours there? Take a look.
How many bunnies you got, Jack?
Whoa, Jack.
How'd you do that?
Now, Jack, let me do this again. I give you this one, squeeze tight, turn your hand over. I take this one here. Oh, wait, look, yours jumped back to me. Well, no, not yet, Jack. Jack, what happens when you put 2 bunny rabbits together? Guess what bunnies like? Show us what bunnies do. Open your hand.
Make more bunnies.
They make more bunnies. Isn't that something?
How do they do that?
Now, what I want you to do this time, open your hand one more time.
Last
Squeeze
one.
tight. Last one. This for me. This for me. Put these away. Right? Kids, this is all about kids tomorrow. Show us what you got. You got kid bunnies, little kid bunnies.
Oh, Look at that.
So you're all invited down to Nicollet Mall today. Jack, you're good tomorrow. Thank you. Tomorrow
Hondo,
morning.
thank
Thanks
you.
a lot, huh?
Jack, good job. Here's a big egg for you, buddy.
Can you make that disappear? Bet you can.
You can join Hondo at the Marshall Fields Easter egg roll benefiting the Children's Cancer Research Fund's Butterfly this Saturday. That's tomorrow morning on Nicollet Mall in downtown Minneapolis. It all starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. For more information, call 612-375-3018, or you can also check them out online at at marshallfields.com.
He's pretty amazing.
Yes, he is.
Well, there's still much more to come on Kare 11 today. You heard Jeff Strickler's glowing review of the new film Holes. Now meet the author and director of this potential classic.
And we're going to get tips for planning for your golden years. Lots more ahead when the show comes back right after this. Good job.
Welcome back. Fans of the hugely popular children's novel Holes are in for a big treat. The successful coming-of-age story has been turned into a star-studded Disney movie starring Sigourney Weaver and Jon Voight. Let's have a look.
Tell them about the lizards. You don't bother them, they won't bother you. Usually.
Well, it's our pleasure this morning to welcome the film's director, Andrew Davis, and Holes' author and screenwriter, Louis Sacker, to our show. Good morning. Welcome, gentlemen.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Exciting to have something that you've written turned into a movie. But first, let's talk a little bit about the story, this coming-of-age story of Holes.
You know that sounds like an easy question, but that's the hardest thing, is to try to explain what this book's about. It's basically about a kid who's wrongfully convicted of a crime and sent to this work camp where he has to dig a hole every day under the hot, brutal sun. But it's also about this old outlaw of the Old West named Kissing Kate Barlow. It's about this curse that comes back from Latvia in the early 1800s, and somehow this all kind of converges on Stanley.
Very often when someone will write a book and it's turned into a movie, they are not pleased with outcomes because they don't have a hand in it, very typically. That's not the case here. You wrote the screenplay.
That's right. And I was consulted every step of the way, and I'm in the movie.
That's great.
Yeah.
A little Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about casting in this. Who's in this film?
The lead kid is a kid named Shia LaBeouf, who's known from Disney Channel Even Stevens. And I think he's like the next Tom Hanks. He's a wonderful, wonderful young actor. And he's surrounded by 7 other great young actors who are part of the camp setting. And the lead adults are Sigourney Weaver plays the warden of the camp. Jon Voight plays her right arm. Tim Blake Nelson, who people remember from Brother, Where Art Thou, is the psychologist of the camp. Eartha Kitt plays Madame Zeroni, the fortune teller. Henry Winkler plays Shia's father. Patricia Arquette plays Kissing Kate Barlow, and Dule Hill from West Wing is Onion Sam. So it's a wonderful, disparate cast of great talents.
Really good writing always creates very powerful images. When you go and then you transfer them to the screen, that's a special challenge. How did you go and accomplish that? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the story is very visual. I mean, it takes place in some very interesting settings and over several different time periods. So it's a wonderful crazy quilt of a textured story that is a great puzzle. And the puzzle is a very visual puzzle. And it deals with dry lake beds that have dried up after curses have been given to a town in Texas. It's got lizards in it. And it's a wonderful film, both visually and emotionally, in terms of how it relates to lots of different people's lives.
This will also have great appeal for adults, I expect, much like Harry Potter does for some folks.
Yeah, well, when I write, I'm writing for myself. I make it accessible to kids, but I write stories that I like. And in fact, actually in England, they have 2 different covers on the book, one that sells in the children's section and one that sells in the adult section.
That's great. Yeah. That is great. You followed this up too, didn't you, with another book?
Yeah, I have a book that came out a few weeks ago called Stanley Yelnitz's Survival Guide to Camp Green Lake. And it's supposedly written for all the kids who are also sentenced to prison, but it's just kind of the fun of it.
Will this lend itself to a film, another sequel, you think, to this?
Prequel, maybe.
Prequel? Okay.
Maybe a prequel.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, we wish you great success with this. A great pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you.
I know it's going to do very well.
Well, thanks.
Thanks again for being here. Well, the film Holes opens today in theaters everywhere. Stay with us.
Still to come on Kare 11 today, planning for the future. We'll talk to an expert on making a smooth transition into your senior years right after this.
Grow old along with me.
Each generation is living longer than the one before, and there are new choices and opportunities for people entering their golden years. And Deborah Dolan with Senior Life Transitions is here with advice on planning for the future. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning, Brad.
On average, people are living, what, about 30 years longer than we were in the previous century?
Exactly, 30 years more than we were 100 years ago, and that will continue to increase.
So planning is very, very important. You know, there's so much information out there. Is it sometimes sensory overload for seniors?
It is. I was helping my aunt just make a phone call to the bank, and she had to go through 7 different steps to get to her account balance. So yeah, there's a lot of information, but we're just drenched with it. It's hard for them to find.
And a lot of information over the phone, some of it helpful, but people can easily be taken advantage of over the phone as well, correctly?
Exactly. They don't know exactly what they're signing up for, who they're talking to, and are easily persuaded.
Okay, and I was reading in some of the material you sent over, it's best if an individual follows his or her own plan as opposed to someone else's vision, correct?
Absolutely, Brad. If we feel as though we are in charge of our future, we're much more likely to we're able to accept the changes that go along with the aging process. I think most often when families come in and make decisions for mom and dad feel as though they're being intruded upon.
Mm-hmm.
Their lives are being intruded upon. They've lived quite well for 50, 60, 70 years. Why is the family stepping in and making decisions now?
So one of the first things you do is you help people create a plan for living. Tell me about that.
Exactly. I like to meet with people as early as 60, 65, where they actually begin to take a look at what do they want the future to look like for them. And if we can meet with their children, it's even more helpful because the children oftentimes play an important role in either support or helping to care for the parents as they move forward. They need to think about what happens, you know, what kind of socialization do I enjoy? Do I like to play cards? Do I like to go to movies? What do I like to do? They need to think about, do I want to live in my home, or would some kind of retirement community better fit my needs and what I'd like to do? They need to start preparing, or at least thinking about what will happen on that morning that I wake up and I'm not comfortable making my breakfast anymore, or I'm not comfortable taking my medications by myself anymore.
And it's important to note, even by being involved in developing your own plan, there are no guarantees. Life has no promises. So you teach people to understand and accept change. Tell me about that.
Exactly. I'm a trainer and organization development consultant by profession prior to going into this business, and I use a program called Managing Transitions, which was created by William Bridges, a kind of an organizational change guru right here from the Twin Cities. And basically we need to understand that change happens. It's going to occur. Change starts happening the minute that we are conceived in the womb. We start aging and change continues. And if we understand that change is a process, we understand that we can manage the process. And we all have 3 stages to go through that change. We have a journey through change, but we will get through to the other side. It's just easier if we understand where we are in the process.
Okay, we have under a minute left, and this last bit of advice is very important. Be willing to ask for and accept help, correct?
One of the biggest problems or issues that I personally deal with is people do not want to bother their children. They are already inundated with their own lives and work and families, and the elderly really hate to stop and ask their kids for help. But it's very important to do so because it's the kids that are going to help support their decisions as they move forward into the aging process.
Sometimes we have to put our pride aside. Thank you so much for being with us, Deborah. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And Deborah will be speaking around town in May. For more information about Senior Life Transitions or her seminars, you can call 952-239-9631 or go online to Kare11.com for a list of her seminars coming up. And we're back right after this. A quick check of today's weather before we go. Today would be mainly cloudy, becoming windy with showers late in the day and a high of 48. Tonight, rain and thunder with a soaking rain, low 44. On Saturday, a chance of showers and drizzle with a high of 55. Pretty much the same on Sunday, a chance of rain with a high of 51.
Monday on Kare 11 Today.
You almost said tomorrow.
We're going to learn how to keep your kids safe during bike safety, organize and recycle, and the Bird Lady's back. Have a great holiday weekend.
Have a nice weekend.
Bye-bye.